Hey friends, Kevin here, and we're talking about living the fantasy, right? Being in a van, being able to go where you want to, pretty much spend the night where you want to. One of the places, however, you will not be doing that is a Buc-ee's. Now, I have several friends that are really excited about going to a Buc-ee's the first time because they have not been to one yet. But they have heard about it and read about it, and they're so big, every time they come into some city, they get free coverage on the local news stations and newspapers. They just put one of these in the last year in Sevierville, Tennessee. When you get off of Interstate 40, this is the main drag that takes you to the Smoky Mountains, takes you to Dollywood, takes you to these different places, and it has taken over that area. You can see it from the interstate before you even hit that exit, and it is just massive. And a lot of people like Buc-ee's because there are no tractor trailers. It is not really a truck stop. It is a stop for normal travelers. So what you have there are cars, vans, and pickup trucks essentially. They have an absolute ton of gas pumps, so you should not have a long wait. Most of the time you're not going to have any wait in order to get gas. And you're able to order a bunch of stuff from outside, or you're able to go inside and get food and souvenirs and all of this other stuff. If you have been in a Buc-ee's, let me know in the comments and let me know where you were that you ran into one of these. Now, I know a lot of us, when traveling at night, depending on where we are, can end up in truck stops, truck stop parking lots. I personally tend to avoid the mega complexes when I do that, but I have spent a night kind of at the side of some smaller, more independently owned truck stops, and I have never had a problem. However, you or I or anyone else will not be spending the night overnighting at Buc-ee's. And I want to hear in the comments whether you think this is a good thing or a bad thing, because I understand the decision they've made, even though I may not be happy with it. So you are not going to be overnighting in your van. You are not going to be overnighting in your car. If they see you there and you look like you're asleep, because they have security going around and monitoring that parking lot constantly. So if they see you in there and you're asleep, guess what? You are, not might, you are going to get the knock, and you are going to be told to leave. Now, at the same time, a lot of people who are camping, they have all the camping equipment hanging off of their vans and stuff, so it is obvious what they are. But even in my situation where I am pretty stealth, the windows I can have blocked out in the back, you can have a curtain pulled across behind the seats like many of us do, so that way someone can only look in your van from the front windows, and they are not able to see you in the back unless you're running a lot of lights that make it obvious. Let me tell you, even that is not going to work at a Buc-ee's, because they are going to come around through that section of the parking lot every few minutes, and they're out there walking a lot of times, not driving. And it's understandable that you may be out there and maybe you're in the store doing something, but they are going to pay attention to your vehicles. And the second or third time that they come around and there is still no one sitting in this vehicle, they know you are not in that store anymore. And again, you can expect to get and be told to leave. When you are in an area that you have never been in before, and you get the knock and are told to leave, regardless of what you have, regardless of how much money you have, your options are pretty limited, because when you don't know the area real well, it's harder to go find another place to park in the van at night. You don't want to go to a nice hotel at 2:30 in the morning and drop a big bunch of money, and you're not even going to get to use any of the amenities there. You're not even going to be able to get a full night's sleep there, so that's a bad option. And if you're dealing with state parks and national forests and a lot of those things, basically all types of campgrounds, and this is something people that work at these places and even the police in a lot of places don't understand, after about 10 p.m., going to one of those places is not even an option, regardless of how much money one of us may have to wave around, because they close and lock the entrance gate. They don't want people coming in there at midnight and 2:30 in the morning and revving engines and trying to get into parking places and making noise. So most campgrounds, after 10 p.m., going to one, not an option. So you have got to find, we have got to find a place to park somewhere out in the world in order to get through the night. We already know in major metro areas, this is much harder because Walmarts in the major metro areas do not let people overnight because of the trouble they've had there before. Depending on where you're at in that major metro area, you may not have any other truck stops. Your big truck stops may be outside of that metro area by 10 miles or 20 miles. So it does pose a problem. Why do companies make a decision to do things like this? Generally, it's because of the way people have acted before. Now, Buc-ee's is a fairly new in that area. I don't think they've been around actually that many years anywhere. I think they're a fairly newish company with what they are doing with these mega complexes that they're building. So I think that decision was probably made from the get-go, and it's probably made from the experience that those people had from whatever their jobs were before, dealing with people that were van lifers, dealing with people that unfortunately may have been homeless and living in their vehicle. And while the majority of people doing either of those things are good people and do not leave messes behind and do not cause trouble, there is that small percentage that always does the wrong thing, always makes the wrong choice, that is careless, that is selfish, and that causes things to be affected for the rest of us. So let me know what you think about these Buc-ee's decisions, and also put down in the comments any other big chains of whatever it is that you know that absolutely will not allow van lifers or anyone parking overnight, and that actually 100% enforces their policy. And we'll talk soon.